We're back. All right. You guys know me, Robert Peters, the CAO of NDPC, and we're back with Chris Nesmith. You know, we started with Chris really giving us some great strategies, future focused strategies for students that are struggling. Then he began to give us 5 great initiatives that he's working on. And I wanted to dig a little bit deeper, right? He's got some work that he's doing around equity. And Chris, you talked about those 3 initiatives that you're working on. Tell us a little bit about that information, man.
So we got 3 plans, 3 initiatives that we're working on that kind of streamline our district from the moment our students come to us to the moment that our students they're leaving us. Right. And that's our pre-K initiative, our mastery-based learning initiative, and our career and college readiness initiative. Okay. So I'm just a big believer of, Stephen Covey's begin with the end in mind. Right. So coming in as a brand new superintendent, we've been spending the last few months working on our portrait of the graduate work. And we're trying to ensure no stone is unturned. Last night's meeting was fully in Spanish. Wow. Where we're talking to parents about what is a portrait of a graduate? What do you want to see from your students? Right? How do you know that you have a successful student? Wow. We've been meeting with recent graduates. I'm actually pulling up my portrait of the graduate because I like to draw and I like to be artistic. So we've been bringing in recent graduates. And we're talking to our recent graduates, and our recent graduates are saying, like, I didn't know how to do this, or I went to college and I didn't have this skill, or I didn't have this ability. So we started talking about, like, what kind of skills and abilities can we give our students? And everybody is creating one of these guys right here. I see. Portrait of the graduate.
I like that, brother.
And I have these in Spanish. I have them from teachers. I have them from recent graduates. We went to the Chamber of Commerce. We went for our workforce board. We've been meeting with parents. We're doing it over Zoom. We're trying to talk to all of our graduates, all of our students, people that are here. We're talking to our current high school students. Right. We're talking to anybody in any language they need to be talked to. Exactly. Let me rephrase that. Actually, that was wrong. We're listening to everybody, and we're listening to anybody in any way in which they need to have it communicated. We don't care. Right. And we're listening to our families to say, this is what we need you to do. This is what a successful student's going to be. Exactly. And we're reinventing communication. Lots of times people think, well, communication is like what's on the lunch menu this week. Right. Communication is 2-directional. Exactly. And we have to have direction. I mean, I'm 6 months, 7 months on the job. Mm-hmm. And until we can make a commitment to our families and where we're going, then really, what are we doing? What is the equity work? What are we scaffolding? What are we providing student supports in going where? Right. If we don't know where we're going, what are we providing supports to? The second thing we're working on is our mastery-based learning work. Okay. And mastery-based learning for us is kind of breaking it down to what does it actually mean to learn? Mm-hmm. What are those key learning indicators? How do we know they learned it? Right? And then how are we going to make sure that they learned it? And one of our concerns when it came down to equity work is we're going to have our North Star. We know where we're going. Right. Where are we going to put anything in an already bloated system? Exactly. How are we going to help students meet a goal? And how are we going to support our students when we're already bursting at the seams? Right. Right? Like, I don't think we have a large migrant population. And how are you going to help a large migrant population, Spanish-speaking migrant population, understand literature when you're trying to place scaffolds into a British literature class? Right. Maybe we need to kind of tear that down, create capacity, so now we have room to rebuild it back up. Exactly. So the career and college readiness and the mastery learning is to create that room. The last initiative is our pre-K. We need to acknowledge we have students coming to us from, we have 1,500 students in our district. We're small. We get about 150 per year. We have 150 kindergartners coming in from 150 different experiences and locations and expectations. And how are we supporting students come into this system and open up the definition? So we have a hand on, we have a kind of a hand in. Mm-hmm. How can we measure success purely on what we need you to know, and then a hand off to the rest of the world? And those are our 3 pieces on how we're driving equity.
I love that, brother. I love that hand in and hand off, right? And I like, all the pieces that you talk about is how we individualize, whether it's instruction, communication for students, and meet them where they are, right? That's all, all the pieces that you're talking about. Folks, if you are interested, and I know you are, hit us up in the chat. I want to make sure that you connect with Chris, right? And if you're ever driving through Washington, you better get on out to Elma School District, right? You know what I'm saying? You better get on out to Elma School District. Chris is doing some amazing work with his faculty there. Like he said, couple months on the job and moving. You know, he's a part of our Learning 2025. They're really moving, transforming, very, very future focused. So, Chris, thank you so much for your time today, man. Thank you so much for sharing. Hit us up in the chat if you want to be connected to our series. We've had Peter Nesmith, we've had Ray McNulty, we've got Chris Nesmith, we've got more Peter Finch, Chris Nesmith. We want to go ahead. We've got additional folks that are going to be a part of this series. You hit us up in the chat. So, Chris, thanks a bunch, man. I appreciate it, brother.
Thank you so much.
All right, man.